I got the invitation to go on this Armed Lutheran radio show, though. You know this guy? Have you seen this? There's two things that I would like to say that make me feel safe. Number one, the fact that there is a radio show called the Armed Lutheran Podcast somewhere in the world. That makes me feel safe.
Faith, firearms, and freedom. Welcome to Armed Lutheran Radio. And now, here's your host, the Armed Lutheran, Lloyd Bailey.
Hey folks, welcome to another episode of Armed Lutheran Radio, a show about guns, hunting, competitive shooting, the natural right of self-defense, and what God's Word says about the issues surrounding gun rights and gun ownership. I'm your host, Lloyd Bailey, the Armed Lutheran, and this is episode number 427. Thank you so much for making Armed Lutheran Radio a part of your week again this week. Welcome aboard to those of you who are new. Hope you will stick around. Come back next week for more Armed Lutheran Radio goodness. Go check the back catalog, all 426 previous episodes. Maybe even consider supporting the show as a member of the Reformation Gun Club, the men and women who make this show possible. I want to give a big thank you to those good folks. This week, I want to give a shout out to Frank from Lake City, Michigan, Stuart from Pensacola, Florida, Paul from Sheridan, Wyoming, Greg from Holly, Michigan, Peter from Nicollet, Minnesota, Edwin from Round Lake Beach, Illinois, our good friend Dan from Enumclaw, Washington, Jim from Rincon, Georgia, Stephen from Spotsylvania, Virginia, who is also a part-time contributor to the show, and Tony from Little Elm, Texas. Thank you all so much for your support. Thank you to all of the members of the Reformation Gun Club. Folks, if you would like to find out more about how you can support the show and what the benefits are, check out reformationgunclub.com or armedlutheran.us/gun club, or you can look for a link in the show notes for this or any of our previous episodes. You get early access to the show. You get invitations to our monthly online hangouts. We're going to do another one the week after Thanksgiving. And then you get the satisfaction of knowing you helped make all this possible. So again, check it out, reformationgunclub.com, and come join us. All right, we've talked at length over the 9 years of this podcast about the culture wars in America, the fight for our rights guaranteed by the First and Fifth Amendments particularly, and of course the fight for the most basic of all rights, the right to life. Well, as the old adage from the video game franchise Fallout goes,
War never changes.
In the Fallout universe, that's a commentary on actual warfare and how mankind's perpetual willingness to kill one another really has not changed since Cain smacked Abel upside the head with a rock. But this is also true of a different kind of war, the culture wars. And in doing some prep for today's show, I found an episode that was released almost 6 years ago to the day, episode number 145. I want to go back to the Grooveyard of Forgotten Favorites. In my opening monologue in that show, I talked about how society has changed in the ways that we promote a culture of death instead of celebrating life. And those observations still hold true today, as it turns out.
Like I said, you can't pass a law and everything is just hunky-dory and everything gets fixed. But there are things that we could do as a society that would start to move the ball in that direction. We could stop glorifying violence and death in the media. We could put an end to the genocide of abortion on demand. We could change the laws about no-fault divorce. We could fight human trafficking and sex crimes. We could put an end to the porn industry. We could celebrate traditional family values, the values of love and charity and compassion and sacrifice that we no longer really share in our movies and our television and our music. We could change that. We could stop sexualizing everything when it comes to women in media and treat them with the respect they deserve. We could end the war on drugs and reform our prison system, which has removed so many men from their families and left a generation of young people in our inner cities in poverty. We could stop calling each other Hitler when we disagree, and we could sit down and find ways to talk to each other again.
I'm especially struck by that last clip, the last part of that clip where I said, we could stop calling each other Hitler. This was 6 years ago, folks. It's especially poignant considering that we just finished a presidential campaign where one particular party spent the entire campaign, nay, the entire last 4 years, calling Donald Trump and his supporters Nazis and Hitler. Again, war never changes. The culture war never changes. The left never changes. Now, back in episode 403, I talked about a Coca-Cola ad from Argentina, which was a great example of things that can be done to celebrate life. Another ad has just come to my attention thanks to, among other people, Brett Cooper's podcast. This one comes from the auto manufacturer Volvo. And this may be the most pro-family, pro-life ad that has been produced in at least a decade in the United States. Now, I'm going to play this for you. It's a little bit long, but I'm going to play it for you. You can't see it, obviously. It's called Meet the New Volvo EX90. Yes, this is free advertising for Volvo, but I want you to hear this. I want to narrate a little of this to you because there's some of it that is done with without a whole lot of dialogue, and I want you to understand what's going on. So listen to this.
Hey.
Okay, so there's a guy and a girl.
Yeah.
At home.
Oh.
She's walked in to the bedroom. Big news about to be imparted. Smiles. And she's going to show him. They don't put it out there, but you know it's a pregnancy test.
Hey, love.
Hey, Mom.
How are you guys? How you doing?
Yeah, we're good.
Something wrong?
No, but we've actually got something to tell you.
Okay, so
Kate's
as
Oh, he's joking.
he's talking to Mom,
Oh my God. How does it feel?
I'm scared, Mom.
it splits to show
Got it
two
all,
different
you know?
women.
The nights, the responsibility, like, we're gonna need a bigger place.
Help with all that.
I know, bless you, you're so sweet. I've got this feeling that we're gonna have a daughter. Just as stubborn as her mum.
Well, hopefully not. The family's knows.
Now that's a legacy she might have to live with. She might be the reason we tied a knot.
Well, that would be nice. I do wish they would do that.
What if I don't do good in class?
I just want to say and do the right things, you know? I want to see a world with her. I'll also be happy staying home, doing nothing, letting her be a kid.
We cut to a woman driving. It's a different woman, not the mother.
Number 32.
Thank you.
I want to see her fall in love.
Now Mom is picking up takeout at a
I also
restaurant.
know what that means. And I know she's gonna bend the rules just like I did. And one day, I'll have to let her go.
It's gonna be hot every single day.
I'm excited to hear what she learns about the world, herself, what she adores, what she hates. recognize the name we give her.
Have you thought of any?
It all depends.
Woman driving is not paying attention to the road. Comes up to an intersection.
Like Leia.
And nearly hits the mother-to-be. Sometimes the moments that never happen matter the most. All right, I'm going to need a second because as the father of a daughter, that hits me in the feels. Anyway, now contrast this with the insanity that is the latest Jaguar ad, in which no car is ever shown. There's no statement about the quality of the car or the quality of the car company. Only vague platitudes about diversity and being different and doing different things, accompanied by garishly dressed, gender-fluid freaks. Now, Jaguar is an expensive car, made for people with more money than sense, in my opinion, and for whom a car is mainly a status symbol. And now apparently a virtue signal as well. Well, Volvo is appealing to the norms, to the normies, families with children, and couples aspiring to create families. Not crazy about the fact that the line in that ad, of course, I think that this child might be the reason we tie the knot. Well, dude, you should have done that already, but we're beyond that now. Volvo is trying to appeal to a different segment of the population. They're boasting about their safety record, and they posit that their vehicles will protect the things that matter most, the lives of the people you love. And in the case of this commercial, where they're at the very end bragging about the safety record of the car and the fact that it's able to stop very quickly, warn the driver of the car that there's something in the road that she needs to worry about, and stops in time to avoid hitting her. They're boasting that their safety features can protect not just the people inside the car, but outside as well. So it's appealing to families, not self-absorbed, navel-gazing, narcissistic people who buy cars just to show off. People who buy cars to protect themselves and their loved ones and others. And all too often, as I pointed out in episode 403 a few weeks ago, well, it's been more than a few weeks ago now, but anyway, our media portrays the nuclear family as something weird, something very odd. Remember, the Harris Waltz campaign decided to trot out this idea to call people like J.D. Vance weird, because J.D. Vance is a normal red-blooded American who made something of himself, has a wife and a beautiful family. He's the weird one. All too often, that's what the media portrays of people like you and me. They portray fathers as dupes or idiots. They're unimportant in the rearing of their children. Or you've got, just watch TV and count how many ads you get that feature hilariously mismatched couples, either weird combinations of races, never two white people, or single moms, or gay couples, but not the traditional nuclear family, one man, one woman, children. It's insulting. But for some reason, corporate America thinks that's what America is now, but it's not. Much has been said of the results of the 2024 elections and how I've heard it called a revenge of the normies, because most of America just wants to live their lives. They don't care what you do in the privacy of your own bedroom. They don't care if you want to chop your own parts off. Just don't force your woke garbage in our faces. And they're tired of having it shoved down their throats at every turn. They cannot escape it. From the news to politics to their entertainment to movies to music to commercials. And we're just sick of it. And if we're going to rebuild a culture of life, all of that has got to be rejected. And it's not really anything special that has to be done. It's just a return to normality. The recognition that life, all life, from conception to death, has value. A recognition that it's perfectly normal and desirable for two people of the opposite sex to want to have children and to raise a family together. That two-parent families, a man and a woman with children, is normal, not weird. It is healthy, normal, and desirable. And it's that family constellation is what represents the vast majority of Americans. And the recognition that the desire to protect those families, whether by owning a vehicle like a Volvo EX90 with high safety ratings or by owning a firearm for protection, is perfectly natural, normal, and desirable. So, hats off to Volvo. Bravo for showing the way. I hope others follow suit. Maybe that is the message coming out of this most recent election cycle. Maybe it's time to get back to normal. It's not much. It's only one commercial, but it's a start. But if the rest of corporate America and the media can follow the lead there, Volvo's lead and not Jaguar's, then it would go a long way towards rebuilding a culture of life in America. It's not the most important part, but you can't build that culture without reinforcing it in the media that we constantly consume. So that's what's on my mind today. This went a direction I didn't anticipate or expect until I saw this and dug into the archives. Thank you for listening. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you, by the way. Thank you for spending your Sunday with me, if you're listening on Sunday. If not, I hope you have a safe and happy Thanksgiving. Hope you are surrounded by good food and the wonderful people that you love. And if you're traveling, you travel safely and get to your destinations and back home again safely. So until we get together again next week for episode 428, keep shooting, keep praying. We'll talk to you again next time.
For show notes, be sure to visit our website at armedlutheran.us. Check out our Facebook page, The Armed Lutheran, or join our Facebook group, Fans of Armed Lutheran Radio. If you like what you hear or have a question or comment, please visit our feedback page, armedlutheran.us/feedback. Christ's blessings to you, and thank you for listening. Armed Lutheran Radio is a proud member of the Self-Defense Radio Network.